Bdote, the place of Genesis, the spiritual center of the Dakota universe, a natural wonder at the cross of the Minnesota and Mississippi rivers. The Bdote of today is hardly recognizable to the place which existed for thousands of years. 200 years ago, another group of people came in and destroyed the sanctity of the Bdote in the name of settlement and destiny. Those invaders are still sitting upon the sacred Dakota land, and the structure they have placed on there has become a site of pride. They call it Fort Snelling.
I know very little about Fort Snelling.
Is that the one that's near the airport?
I know nothing other than I've heard the name.
It is a historical landmark of Minnesota.
But I know that there's like a Boy Scout climbing thing there now.
It's a hiking area for many people who like that activity.
That it was basically a concentration camp for the Dakota people for about a year.
I know it's pretty old.
I almost went on a field trip, but it was canceled due to rain. That'd probably be a shame.
Almost kind of like to see it still there.
If it was important enough to be part of history at one point, what makes it less important now?
I think it'd be a missed opportunity to explore. It just seems wrong for any reason.
I guess I can definitely understand the want to do that, the want to destroy something that was built by settlers, especially when tourists will walk through there and be like, oh, look at this cool place, when it's really this source of really terrible memories and historical trauma.
When the Civil War broke out, Fort Snelling became a military base once again as Minnesota troops gathered there before heading south for the war. In fact, when the Dakota Uprising began in 1862, the military response was organized at Fort Snelling under Colonel Henry Sibley, and even the 3rd Minnesota Infantry returned to Minnesota from fighting the Civil War in order to participate in the war against the Dakota.
And there is a concentration camp there, and that's usually what we talk about today. And that's at the base of the fort, but the actual fort itself had 4 cannons aimed down at the men and women that were in the concentration camp. There's a sign in front of the fort, and it says below is an internment camp, which we say concentration camp because there's all this horrible imagery that comes along with concentration camp, and they choose not to use it.
As Wazia Taween points out in What Does Justice Look Like, Fort Snelling and the lands surrounding are the site of Dakota genesis and genocide.
But it is such an important site for Dakota people. It felt like another infringement on Dakota territory, Dakota homeland, at sites that were of profound spiritual importance to our people and profound historical importance to our people. You know, we don't want that site controlled by the Minnesota Historical Society. We don't want a fort there in particular because Fort Snelling was Minnesota's first monumental icon of American imperialism. It was the mechanism by which white settlers came into our homeland and then disseminated throughout. It was a place where white people could be protected in their occupation of Dakota homeland and in the subjugation of Dakota people. And the fact that Minnesotans still celebrate that place, that structure, is an indication that we live in a colonial occupied territory. The other thing is that the American flag flies over that site, and that's the same flag, or it's the flag that represents the people, the nation that stole our homeland, that ethnically cleansed our population from our homeland, that perpetrated genocide against our people, that ordered the largest mass simultaneous hanging from one gallows in world history perpetrated against our people. All of those things combined with the fact that it's also a sacred site, the place of origin for our people, it makes it unbearable that Fort Snelling still stands on Dakota homeland. That land, because of its historical and sacred significance to Dakota people, should be returned to our people. I really started thinking about what it would have meant for my ancestors, for my grandmothers, to be forced marched to this place, to be held in captivity in a beloved place, in a sacred place, in a place that they had heard about and visited and related to through story, through memory, through love, through family, and then to be held captive there. In Dakota language, the word that we have for that place is Bedote. I learned or was taught that the primary Bedote is right there where the Minnesota River joins the Mississippi, and it's because it's our place of origin, our place of creation. That's a very special relationship that we have with our homeland, and it's a relationship that no other human population on the face of the planet can claim with this land.